Hey there. Now, I've got a question for you, and I'm going to invite you to drop a yes in the chat if any of this resonates with you. So, do you find yourself constantly juggling all of the tasks that you have to do in a day? Maybe you find that you get to the end of each day with a whole bunch of things still not ticked off on your to-do list. Usually the really important strategic projects that you really want to get done, right? Do you find yourself sometimes even lying awake at 4 a.m. in the morning, worrying about all of the tasks that you haven't yet got to, the things that you keep thinking about but never quite get into action about? Maybe worrying about, oh, what are the things that actually have just dropped off your radar that might trip you up, maybe waiting for the other shoe to drop, as it were. Well, if any of those things apply to you, firstly, drop a yes in the chat to let us know. But if any of those apply to you, you are in the right place because I've got a solution for you. And hey, Kristen, thanks so much for your comment. Yes, it is a new background. For those of you who've watched my lives before, I'm actually in an exotic location in a B&B that I've rented to get away and just focus on my business for a week. So this is my only appointment in the week is with all of you today. So thanks, Kristen, for noticing that. The view that I'm looking at is even better, but I won't share it with you because it would ruin the light. Anyway, let's get back to you. Rather than talking about the background, let's talk about time. So today, what I want to share with you is 3 of my favorite tips that are designed to help you transform your focus and reclaim your time. So many of us go through life going, I just don't seem to have enough time for things. Maybe even looking at others going, how on earth did they manage to get so much done? Because the thing is, we've all got the same amount of time in each day, right? We've all got all the time in the world, but sometimes it really doesn't feel like it. So it is actually possible to train yourself or to get the processes in place so that you can get to the end of every day and have every single day feel like a success, so that you can get to the end of each day and look back at what you've accomplished and gone, yep, tick, tick, tick. I accomplished what I set out to do today. And so that you can do that consistently. How would that feel? Right? Drop a comment in the box if you like a sound with that, if you like the sound of that. But all right, so just before we get started, a few things. Firstly, if you're here live, drop the word live. And I will just get that up. I just got slightly behind on the captions. But if you're here live and you would as you're listening to us, here we go, just drop a live in the box. If you're watching on the replay, because of course not everyone gets to watch live, if you're watching the replay, then drop replay in the box, and that way I know that you're here and I can answer any questions that you've got. All right, so also, if you know anyone else around, any friends that you've got or connections that you've got who struggle with this time thing as well, be sure to share this with them because these tips will benefit them as well. And quite frankly, life is too precious to spend it stressed about the amount of time we don't feel that we have, and you can fix it. One other thing, I know that I tend to cover quite a lot of material, often quite quickly in these lives. So if you would like a copy of my own notes that I use for this, drop notes in the chat and I will make sure I get the link to those show notes to you. And also, if you like the idea of being able to accomplish more in less time, more accomplishment, more momentum, more time for yourself, then do stick around to the end because I have a special gift for you that I want to share within a collection of additional proven strategies that you can start implementing right away to help you reclaim your time, enjoy more balance in your life, and more time for you. So before we dive in, just in case we haven't met yet, just allow me to introduce myself. I'm Anna McKinlay, and my passion is helping entrepreneurial mums to create strong foundations and structures in their life so that so that you can create a life that you love, so that you can create the daily habits and structures that nourish you and that help you to thrive in your business as a parent and in your whole life, right? As a human being. I do this through what I call my total wellbeing roadmap, through online content like this and through online courses and coaching. So here's the thing. If you're an entrepreneur and also a mum and working from home and juggling all of those balls, trying to keep everything in the air, staying on top of it all, and to be blunt, it can be a real challenge, even at the best of times, because we have to wear so many different hats. And it can be a real struggle to create boundaries and to even know what's most important in any given moment. And added to all of the stuff, even just the stuff running your business, right? We have to wear a whole lot of different hats. And when you add in the parenting, running the household, and everything else, it can feel overwhelming. I remember how it used to feel for me a few years ago when I first started my business and my kids were little, just keeping on top of things. To be completely honest, some days I felt like my head was going to explode, literally. And I was constantly worried that I'd miss something important. I'd be lying awake and, like I said before, waiting for the other shoe to drop, trying to think, what is it that I've missed? What's going to go wrong tomorrow? What's just waiting to pounce? We get into a kind of low level chronic stress. And often we get so used to being in that low level of stress, we might not even realize that we're stressed. But it just takes up so much more energy. We find ourselves more tired. We find ourselves with a much shorter fuse. And, it's, you know, everything can feel hard. And the thing is that doesn't just affect us in our business. It affects our clients. It affects our relationships. It even affects our kids, right? And it affects our health. So I'm hoping that the strategies I'm going to share with you today will help you to alleviate that, at least start chipping away at that stress, and will give you some strategies and some structures to give you back a sense of control. Okay, so let's keep going. So I'm just going to, oh, by the way, just a reminder, drop the word notes in the comments if you'd like me to share my notes with you. I'm going to dive now into 3 of my favorite strategies for getting more done, more of what matters done in less time. And again, thanks everyone who's joining live. It's so great to see you. Hey, Karen Warden, so great to see you on as well. Let's dive into the juicy stuff. Right. So strategy number 1. And this is one that, it sounds obvious and we hear it all the time, but know what's important and what's not. And the thing is, we hear all the time, you should have goals, you should have goals. I hate the word should. Let's delete that one for starters. But we do know that knowing what's important for us allows you to set your focus and your intention on what matters, and it creates a compass for you to steer your life and your business by. If we don't know what's important, we end up trying to do everything and we split our energy and nothing works well, right? So knowing what's important, it does start with actually having a look at your life as a whole and getting really clear about what are your goals, not just in your business, but in your life. What's your goal for your business? What's your goal for your relationships and how you want to show up as a parent? What's your goal for your well-being and how you want to take care of yourself? Because if we don't set goals for the different areas of our life that are important, we will focus on the things we do have goals around. And that's why so many of us get out of balance, because we say have a goal for our business, but not for our parenting, not for our health, not for the other things. And so it all gets out of whack. So set clear goals for your business and for your life. And here's the most important part. Make sure they're your goals, not someone else's, not what someone told you should do, not even what you feel you should do. Make sure it is a goal that resonates with you and that actually feels exciting. Because here's the thing, if it doesn't feel exciting when you set the goal, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be really, really hard to stay motivated when it starts, when you get distracted and when things start to be a bit challenging with the goal. So make sure that it's a goal for you. In the context of time management, setting clear goals is absolutely vital because it is the compass by which you steer your ship, and it is the decision-making criterion by which you choose where to spend your energy, your focus, and your time. Okay, so clear goals for your business and your life. And as I have said, absolutely vital, make sure they're your goals. Delete all the shoulds, other people's kind of chatter and ideas, make them your goals. All right. So I'll just check in the chat, see if anyone's got any comments on that. Do feel free to drop comments as we go. What's the next strategy? Well, the next strategy is one, and again, the best strategy, you've noticed the best things are always the simple ones, and we go, oh yeah, I kind of knew this. It's been said that we cannot manage what we don't measure. And yet, how many of us really know where our time is going? We get to the end of the day and we have in our imagination an idea of where we think we spent our time during the day. But here's the thing, when we actually look at where we spend our time, chunk by chunk by chunk, usually we are way off. And most of us really don't have a clear idea of just how much time is getting sucked away by the distractions and what I call busy work. The stuff that keeps us busy and makes us feel like we're doing something, but it's not moving us towards anywhere, right? All of those things are actually taking you away from what you want. Coming back to your goals, any time or energy that you're spending focusing on something that is not one of your goals, it's not just that you're not moving towards your goals, you are actually taking yourself away from your goals by scattering your energy and your focus, right? So here's the thing. Keep track of where you're putting, and even just doing this for a few days, right? I know for a lot of people, I was like, oh, there is a part of our brain that doesn't like change. And that part of our brain will come up with all sorts of excuses to push against the feeling of accountability that comes from tracking our time. By the way, it's that same part of your brain that creates all of these excuses and distractions and, I know I need to do this strategically important task for my business today or make that important phone call, but I think I better just put out the laundry first or check my email or see what's going on Facebook. Those things come from that part of our brain that kind of wants to keep us safe by keeping us stuck in the same old patterns we've always been in. And that's the part of our brain where resistance to change lives. It's the part of our brain where stuckness lives. Okay, so when we actually start to keep a track of where we're actually putting our time, that part of our brain is going to push back. It's quite normal, right? And that's why we need to do it. The stronger the pushback, the more likely it is that we'll find that, actually, there's a whole lot of time that I'm allowing others to kind of take away from me that I'm not putting towards what's most important for me, my business, my family. And I'm letting it get kind of siphoned away onto other things, right? So it's a very, very simple process, and you only need to do it just for a few days to really get an idea. Okay, what I suggest you do is just keep a notebook, or if you like spreadsheets, set up a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. But just every 15 minutes or so during the day, just check in and make a note. What was the one thing that out of that 15 minutes, the one thing you spent the most time on? And do that for, say, 3 days. And then you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to see where the patterns are. What are the things that maybe you weren't aware of that are siphoning off a lot of your time and your focus and your energy, right? So knowing where your time is going now is going to help you be much, much more focused, and is going to help you make decisions about tweaks, changes you want to make to where you're putting your energy. And it's going to tell you where the traps are for you. What are the things that, without your conscious awareness, will get you sidetracked? And once you know what those are, forewarned is full prepared, right? If you know what they are, you can create some protections for yourself. You can be aware, you can notice when you're getting into that trap, and then it's much, much less likely to affect you. So this is a really powerful strategy. And as I said, you don't have to do it all the time. I still do this after years. I still, from time to time, just set 3 days aside and track my time for 3 days so that I can actually make adjustments and make sure I haven't slipped back into old habits. And it's very, very powerful. All right. Strategy number 3, and I did mention this in another way in my live video last week, actually, but this one's really important. Planning your day. We all know that we'll get more done if we plan our day and if we focus, right? What a lot of people do is wake up in the morning, do their morning practice, whatever it is, sit down with their cup of coffee, and then ask ourselves, what am I going to do today? No, not a good thing to do. Why? Because our brains love answering questions. And so in the morning, when we ask ourselves, what's most important for me to do today, we're going to wake up what some people call the monkey brain, which is that chatter brain. It's the distraction brain. And it's going to go off hunting for all of these things you should do today. And it's not going to be a strategic plan in the sense of being focused on what's most important for you. And it's also not going to be a plan your brain is ready for and prepared for. And so there's going to be a bit more inertia. And, if you're anything like me, there's the first best 20 minutes of the day gone, just putting the plan in place. And then it's like, I think I need another cup of coffee before I start on my first task, right? So instead of planning in the morning, my very strong recommendation to you is plan your day the day ahead. So when you get to the end of all of your activities, think ahead to tomorrow. Think about what appointments that you have. Think about how much time you realistically have to actually spend on tasks, on your work tasks, on your self-care, the things that you're committed to doing for your family. Look at how much time you've got there. Look at your goals. Remember, your goals are the decision-making criterion for where you want to spend your time. Look at your goals and ask yourself, what is one small, achievable task that I can do tomorrow that is going to move me forward towards my goals? One for each goal is a nice way to get balance in each day. You don't have to be addressing each and every one of your goals every day. Then it might be that you have several business tasks, but over time we want to get a balance between all of our goals. My recommendation is no more than 5 chunks, tasks. It might be make a list of phone calls. It might be engage on social media, whatever it is. Clumping like activities together into a task or action. Note down that task or action. If necessary, put a time limit on it so that, we don't get down that rabbit hole and get lost. And making sure that they're actions that move us towards our goals, right? And those become the most important things for your day. Now, here is the absolutely critical thing with planning our day. Looking at your appointments, your amount of available time, and the tasks that you've planned for yourself, ask yourself the hard question, right? Which is it really achievable? And when you're asking that question, remember, we're in the real world. A lot of us like to work in an ideal world where everything runs smoothly, where we're always at the top of our game. Everything always goes without errors, without technical hiccups, without interruptions and all of that kind of stuff. I've planned for that world a lot myself. I've never had a day that actually took place there, right? So when we're asking, is it achievable for me to complete every single one of these tasks that I'm planning tomorrow? Actually give yourself a really good contingency margin and assume that there are going to be some things that don't go to plan because we live in this real world, right? And that might mean that you drop a task off. It might mean that you make them smaller. It probably will. If that's the case, do it, because the reality is you're going to drop those tasks off anyway. You can do it from a place of control so that you can then get to the end of your day tomorrow and succeed, have ticked off everything you committed to do. Or we go, I'm going to pray that tomorrow goes perfectly. We can keep all of those, that slightly unachievable list of tasks. And then we get to the end of the day tomorrow. And it's like, oh, man, yet another day where I didn't tick everything off my list of things to do. And I'm going to tell you a secret about that. Every single day that we get to the end of our day and we haven't ticked off everything that we committed to do, we are teaching ourselves to do something. Guess what? In fact, I won't make this up. I'm just going to say it. Every time we get to the end of the day and we haven't ticked off everything we committed to do in the day, we are teaching ourselves to fail. every single time. And our brains are rewiring them all the time. They'll take that on board. They'll say, I'm the kind of person that doesn't get to the end of my list of my plan each day. I'm the kind of person that does not achieve on my plan each day. I'm the kind of person who's not successful each day. Every day we do that, that's what our brain is wiring in. So it's your choice, right? Do you want that? Or do you want to scale the plan back so you can say, yes, 100%, even if stuff happens, I can achieve this in the time that I've got. It's my recommendation that you do that one so that you can get to the end of the day, look at your plan, go tick, 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 I did it all. Because then you're teaching yourself to succeed. You're teaching yourself that you are the kind of person who follows through and gets it done and ticks off everything on your plan. Which one would you rather be, right? So, really important thing there, plan your day the day ahead so that when you get into your day, you're ready to go. A supercharge on this is actually identify what your first task is going to be and do anything you need to do to get ready for that so you can just dive right into the doing without having to think about it. Because we don't want to wake up that monkey brain and open ourselves up to distraction. We just want to get straight into the accomplishment, don't we? So that's my 3 tips. Now, I do have a secret sauce tip. I love giving secret sauce tips. But first, I'm just going to check in. Any ahas, any nuggets, any takeaways that you want to share, drop them in the chat. And hey, Karen, I just want to check in with you. I hope that you are gaining something. You said in the comments, oh, I need this. So I'd love to hear what you're gaining. Awesome. All right, I am going to just keep us moving along because I tempted you with some secret sauce. I'm going to share what it is. The secret sauce is set your intention for the day before you go to sleep. What I shared with you in my live last week was about doing a mental rehearsal of your day, running through completing the day successfully before sleeping. Adding on to that, you can set an intention, and the intention is really, what is my intention for how I choose to show up and for how the day is going to go? For example, you can set an intention to be focused. You can set an intention to allow everything to flow with ease. You can set an intention to be super productive. You know, each of those has a different feeling. It has a different energy. When we set that intention and really actually go into our body and feel, okay, what does it feel like for me to be laser focused and super productive, right? And feel that feeling. And if we do that, we go, right, my intention is tomorrow, this is how I'm going to show up. And we do that just before we go to sleep. We're actually programming that in because that is what our brain is processing for the whole however many hours it is that you're asleep. And you can check back in on that intention when you wake up, go, right, today is my laser focus day. Today is my letting it flow with ease day, whatever it is that your intention is. And that is going to help you get through the day in that energy, right? Intention is incredibly powerful. There's lots of really fascinating research on that, which I won't go into now, but it's definitely something you can use in your favor. All right, so those are the things I wanted to share with you, some simple tips to help you conquer your day as an entrepreneur, as someone who works from home, as a parent, as a human being, right? So I do actually have, this is just a sample. I've got a resource that I've put together. I call it 10 ways for you to reclaim your time. It's an ebook and it's got 10 strategies, not just the ones I've just shared with you, but an additional extension, 7 more strategies, which are practical, which you can take and start applying straight away. So I would love to share that with you if you feel it would be helpful to you. Whoops, I just shared the wrong thing. Let's just, here we go. If you would like a copy of that resource, 10 ways to reclaim your time, just drop a comment saying, give it to me, and I'll send you the link by messenger. All right. That is give it to me. Drop that in the comments and I'll send you the link so that you can get your copy of the ebook, 10 Ways to Reclaim Your Time. And remember, of course, I know, again, I've covered quite a lot. So if you would like a copy of my show notes, then drop notes in the comments as well, and I'll get that to you. And again, thank you to everyone who's joined in live. If you didn't catch all of this, you can, of course, catch it on the replay, or if you prefer just to read my notes, drop notes in the comments, and I will get that to you. All right, so that's everything that I wanted to share today, what I would like to say though is, yeah, I'm going live again in a week. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that stuff. And what I'm going to be focusing on there is something that's really, I think, coming up for a lot of people. I've seen it on Facebook a lot, and from a lot of the people I've been talking to, that this seems to be a biggie for a lot of people these days, and that is distractions. So, some strategies and tactics to help us manage the distractions which knock us off course and which can sneak in even when we've got the best plan in the world. So, some things that you can do to help you get more distraction proof. So, if you like the sound of that, join me again, same time next week. Right, so that's it from me. I'm just going to check back in the chat. Oh, Karen Warden, you said a great big yes. So that is fantastic. And oh my goodness. The chat had a lag on it and the comments have just gone up. So Karen, thank you so much for sharing that that nugget of making long lists and failing. Totally there with you. That was me for a very, very long time. And all of that stuff, waking up in the night with our brain, it's not good. Hopefully now you have got some tips. And thank you, Karen, there for your for your comment as well. I'll get that resource to you within the next 24 hours. So keep an eye on your messenger box. And anyone else who wants that extra resource, 10 ways to reclaim your time, give it to me in the chat as well. Hey, thanks again. Oh, one last thing actually I'll do, because we have covered a lot. And that is, I do want to do a quick recap. Because today, very important topic, how you can achieve more in less time. And the beautiful thing is also using up less energy, which I love. Then you've got energy for this kind of thing. We covered 3 important tips, and I'm just going to summarize them. So, you ready? Quick recap. 3 tips that we covered to help you conquer your day. Tip number 1, know what's important and what's not. That means setting clear goals, goals that are yours, that can act as your compass and as your decision-making criterion for how you use your time. Tip number 2, know where your time is going now. We cannot manage what we don't measure, right? So even just for a few days, check in with yourself once every, say, 15 minutes or so, and ask yourself, in the last 15 minutes, what is the one thing that I've spent the most time on? And just make a note of it. You do that for 3 days, you'll be able to look back and see the patterns and identify the things that keep pulling you off course. And that gives you the information to be able to do something about it. Tip number 3, plan your day the day ahead so that you can get everything set up, you can get your mind focused, you can set up your external environment and get everything all laid out nicely so that when you wake up in the morning, you can hit the ground running, focused on your plan and actually ticking things off your plan from the get-go. All right? The secret sauce that I shared with you, set an intention for how you choose to show up, and set that intention the day before so that as you're sleeping, your mind is getting ready to show up that way. So thank you so much, everyone who joined me live. Fantastic to have you all here. I hope that you gained something. Looking forward to seeing you again next week when we'll be looking at how to program yourself to be distraction proof. And in the meantime, you have a fantastic week. I wish you lots of fun putting those tips in place, and the other 7 strategies which I share in my ebook as well, the 10 ways to reclaim your time, for those who get that from me as well. So thanks again. Have a fantastic day. And I am going to end this live stream here. Bye-bye.